Hello, it's William here from Wusik, and this is Wusik Station AD, and this is version Alpha 8, so it's not beta version just yet, because there is some stuff that I still have to work on. And as I start up the plugin for a blank plugin, blank project, I can select the blank presets, and I already worked on a sample player and a sample player 8x8 pads. But let me show the sample player, which already does have a lot of options. So I have the filter envelope, modulation envelopes with the modulation targets, and this is already all working. So all you see here is working correctly. So let me load a sound in here. Let me check on the Mini Moog. So I just select 2 times the sound and it loads up. So we have the filter. Let's use an envelope for the filter. And if all the envelopes can be looped, you just press on the ADS here. You see the loop. And you can also do this on the amplitude envelope to get some crazy modulation amplitude effect. So you get the idea. And the greatest thing about the sampler is that you can edit the current sound, and all the things you edited in here are going to be saved on the preset or the project, not the sound itself. So I can adjust, let's say, one of the sounds. So this sound, let's say I want to tune it in a different way, I can do that. And it's not a destructive option, so it's going to be saved on a preset itself. So let me close that up. We also have the effects layer here, so I can add some effects. Let me do a chorus. Maybe some stereo delay. I also have an impulse reverb option in here with some impulse reverb files, convolution reverb. Let me check where my files are stored. I can use the library option. No, I don't have the library installed. So let me check in here. Reverb impulses, they are all here. Let me remove the delay to here, the selector, impulse reverb. Let me boost a bit. So it works great. I can have multiple layers. Each layer can be a different type of layer. You have shortcuts for layer A, B, C, and D, but you can go here on the layers list and add more in here and access more in here, up to anything from 99 layers, but that's a bit crazy. I also have some global settings that's for the preset, because you have a multi-preset here on the other side, here on the right, and I can add more presets in here. So you can also use some options to switch from one preset to another, or to use a random option, round robin, or even latch the notes for all presets. So you can do that with multi presets. What else? Let me see here. The global settings, there's just the fine tuning, master A tuning, and medium channel and stuff like that for this preset. And also there's also the MIDI processor, which is going to be the wave sequencer, which I'm still working. And right now I have the basic arpeggiator, which already works. I'm just holding a chord here. So that's very handy. I can also remove the MIDI processor if I want, and add back if I want, just by clicking on the M, which is for a MIDI processor. Let's go on. I can also mute all the effects by right-clicking on the effect name here. Just right-click and it's going to bypass. Let me initialize this preset. Another thing I can do is also add multiple sounds here. So let me go here again. I'm going to add a sound. And I can go here, insert new sound, so it's going to be middle click. And I can add as many sounds as I want. So now I add the mood guitar and a short synth one. And I'm going to go to the mood guitar and edit the sound, so make it an octave higher. Two octaves. And I can also select some multi-sounds mode. I can use the round robin. Random. I can also select the sample start modulation. And I can also mix and crossfade multiple sounds. So in this case here I'm going to use the modulation wheel. So that's very handy. I can also use an LFO or the modulation envelope for that. You have the sampler, mix, crossfade. And of course I can also use a filter and select an LFO or envelope to filter frequency, the normal stuff. So let me try in here. I have to change the default speed of everything to be a bit lower because it's defaulting by the fastest one. I have to change that. And of course, I can go back and add more effects or another layer if I want. So let's say a 8x8 pads layer. So the 8x8 pads allow you to load 64 sounds in a 8x8 style, so you can use a touch screen, or you can access the sounds from a MIDI keyboard. And this way you can load multiple single samples instead of having to load in separate way on the sampler. This way you can load directly on the pads, so it's very much easier to do like that. So let me mute this layer. So I have muted both layers now. So it's just playing layer B. So it's just play the two sounds. And I can also go back, initialize my preset again, and go back to the sample player and load more files in here, like SFZ files too. I can also load that up. And there's always a preview option. If you go here on global options, there's a preview sound maximum size. Anything that is lower than that is going to preview the file. So let's add some chorus and some stereo delay. And you have also the layer send effects, several options for the effects alone. Let me load another file in here, so I can click in here, insert new sound. Let me load this file. Let's add some modulation in here, like maybe some pitch modulation. So that can get a lot of crazy behavior. I can also use the sample start, but I'm not going to add any here because I already have it here on the sample options. Sample start modulation random. That's very handy to use. One thing to notice that here on the bottom, there's always some help that you can click to cycle and read multiple informations about the current layer that you are on. So if I go here on the file browser, I can see that there is some information about how to use the preview. Let me recall everything. There's information on how much RAM you're using. And the greatest thing is that sounds are shared. So if you load the same sound on multiple locations across the plugin, it's not going to load more than once, just one time, and it's going to share, and it's just going to have this information here from tuning, panning, volume, and stuff like that. That's not going to be shared, and that's just very small information, so it's not a problem. So the next thing I'm going to be working is on the wave sequencer, which is not done yet. Just started yesterday, so there's not much there to see, but it's going to be where you can really manipulate the sounds in a sequenced fashion. Right now, we already have the ARP that I showed before. There is a lot to show, so I'm not going to be able to cover everything that I had already worked so far, but a lot of stuff is already working, as you can see. I have included on the alpha files some information of what I already have done and so on. And that's pretty much what I wanted to cover in this video. So now I have to finish the wave sequencer and of course the other layer types, because it's going to be more than just the sample player layers. We're going to have the virtual analog oscillator type of layer, the acid looper where you can load wave files with the acid information on a file that you can loop and re-loop and stuff like that, just like Wusik D-looper. So it's probably going to be using the code from there. But from everything you can see here, I used new code just to be sure that everything is working correctly and that it's going to be able to port to Windows and Mac. So it was a lot of work. And I'm going to also have the drum sequencer, a different type of modular synth, not like the Wusik 8008, and I had a retro 8-bit synth, which is the Wusik Station ST8, but I'm going to redo a few things and make it a bit different, and it's going to be inside in here, the sample recorder, and a super oscillator. And everything here is dynamic, so if you don't use something, it's not going to use the CPU and RAM. It's everything, because everything is allocated as you need it. So if I have a layer of a sample player, it's just a sample player running on the CPU and store at RAM. And if I load another thing like the retro 8-bit synth or the modular synth, those are going to be dynamically, I think is the word, it's going to be allocated on the fly. So that's why I wanted to start this from zero and code in a way that wouldn't hog the CPU and RAM, and it should be light to use. Now I just ask for users to help me out to finish this up. So check out on the description how you can help. There's the Patreon option, the Ko-Fi Buy Me a Coffee option, and you can also pre-order from this site. Just go to wusik.com and there's some options there that you can pre-order, because I really need the help to finish this up, because there is a lot of stuff that I still have to do. And by helping out, you get access to the alpha files, and you can also give me some feedback so I can continue doing this, and it's going to be great that way, because I really need some feedback. So that's it. Thanks for watching.